Hi, I'm Carl Azus. Fridays are awesome on CNN Student News. 10 minutes of commercial-free headlines, our free online news quiz, then of course your weekend. You can't beat that. Let's get this started. Congress has a new investigation going on. Committee is trying to figure out whether the Fort Hood Army shootings could have been prevented. Two of the reasons why. One, there's a 2-year-old memo that's getting a lot of attention. It reportedly says that Nidal Hasan, the man accused of the shootings, had bad judgment and wasn't very professional in his work as an Army psychiatrist. Two, some of the doctors who worked with Hasan say he was known for having extreme religious views. So Congress's investigation is looking into whether Army officials paid enough attention to these reports. This isn't the only investigation into the Fort Hood shootings.
The Department of Defense will conduct a separate review to ensure the safety and health of DoD employees and their families. We do not enter this process with any preconceived notions. However, it is prudent to determine immediately whether there are internal weaknesses or procedural shortcomings in the department that could make us vulnerable in the future.
This is your captain, we're gonna be delayed. Not something you want to hear in a plane. Interesting reason for yesterday's delays though, a computer glitch. A system in Atlanta, Georgia and Salt Lake City, Utah went down for 5 hours yesterday morning. It was unable to automatically set up flight plans for planes, so air traffic controllers had to do it themselves, which takes longer. Not a safety problem, according to the Federal Aviation Administration, but a serious efficiency problem that led to delays and cancellations across the country. College students locking arms, sitting down, and staying put at UCLA couldn't stop a hike in their tuition. That's the fee you pay to go to college, and California is raising that 32%, very significant. The state's also cutting down on what it spends, all because its budget is just running out of money. Officials say they will increase the amount of financial aid they give to some low and middle income students, though. Thelma Gutierrez was on the scene of the protest.
I'm currently a fourth-year English major. I'm already working 2 jobs, so then I would have to find some other job, probably on the weekends.
No cuts, no fees. Education should be free. I'm here protesting the increased fees for UC tuition. They want to raise it by 32% for this coming winter, and then an extra 32% for next year. And that's just something me and my family really can't afford to pay.
A tense day on the UCLA campus. Students awaited their fate as the UC Board of Regents met. At issue, an unprecedented 32% fee hike in tuition to close a $535 million budget deficit. The regents say they simply didn't have the money, that faculty has been furloughed, staff have been laid off or have their salaries cut, and students will have to share the pain. But Marisa Santillan says the budget shouldn't be balanced on the backs of middle to lower income students.
I try to pay as much of my fees on my own. I don't use my family's money because they have a house to pay for, like they have kids to feed, and I try to not be a burden on them.
Steffi Uton says her mother, who's a nurse, works 3 jobs just to pay for her education, and Steffi doesn't qualify for government help.
To see her struggle so much, it pains me. It makes me feel selfish for wanting to be educated, and that's not fair. Because I know more than anything, that's why she came here. She came here so that I could get the education that she didn't get in the Philippines.
Here's the deal. Today's money word is debt. It means the amount of goods, services, or money that one owes to another. Put that in your word bank.
The U.S. government goes into debt, borrowing money to pay for its programs. It's expected to rack up $9 trillion in debt over the next 10 years. Now, we've already reported that. But what's new here is that according to the Congressional Budget Office, more than half of that debt, $4.8 trillion, would be in interest. That's the price you pay just for borrowing the money. And taxpayers will be paying it back. Either taxes go up or the government finds a way to cut down on its spending. Out for a walk in orbit for more than 6 hours. A day after docking at the International Space Station, 2 American astronauts got to work yesterday, installing and maintaining some parts of the lab. They have 2 more spacewalks to go. Their mission, to stock up the station with spare parts. And this is cool, because the station orbits the Earth so fast, during yesterday's walk, they actually circled the Earth several times.
Time for the shout out. Whether you call it soda, cola, or pop, What gives it fizz? If you think you know it, shout it out. Is it NO2, H2O, CO2, or NaCl? You've got 3 seconds. Go. The gas carbon dioxide, or CO2, is what puts the fizz in fizzy drinks. That's your answer, and that's your shout out.
An issue bubbling up nationwide. In Illinois, some of those sodas recently got more expensive. Could happen soon in San Francisco and Colorado. Even President Obama has said, quote, kids drink way too much soda. Could a national tax on sodas reduce obesity and bring in government money? It could. Could it be seen as a threat to the freedom to enjoy a soda without extra taxes? It could. Luis Schiavone discusses an issue that's fizzing up.
Thirsty? Have a soda. That's what your brain is telling you, says former Food and Drug Commissioner David Kessler.
The fact is that our brains, not only our brains, but our children's brains, are being hijacked. Our behavior is becoming conditioned and driven by all the fat, sugar, and salt that's been put on every corner and made available 24/7 by the food industry.
And that's why there are growing calls for taxation on foods that lead to obesity, starting with sweet drinks. There's currently no such provision in the House or Senate healthcare reform bills. And at Yale University, Kelly Brownell says 33 states tax soft drinks with little impact on consumption. He recommends a federal tax on sugar-sweetened drinks of a penny an ounce to deliver $15 billion in the first year alone, which he says should be targeted to health programs.
If there's any evidence to suggest that a tax would work, it's how hard the soft drink industry is fighting this. They're lobbying extremely hard.
The food and beverage industry has spent $26.4 million on lobbying for the first 3 quarters of this year. The figures from the Center for Responsive Politics. It's a significant increase from the roughly $21 million in lobbying dollars spent last year and about $15 million spent in 2007.
And now we're hearing about a new tax on juice drinks and sodas. It's a tax that hurts families who can least afford it, and it comes at the worst possible time.
This ad comes from a coalition of beverage, food, and agricultural industries, among others, who have tried to get ahead of the conversation before it becomes policy.
People don't want to pay 1 penny more on anything right now, particularly what they put in their grocery cart. So we're for solutions that will really work.
People who care about their health, says the coalition, should understand that calories consumed and calories burned in exercise need to cancel each other out.
It's a touchy subject. And although President Obama told one interviewer earlier this year that a sin tax on soda should be explored, the White House says it is not a notion the administration is currently pursuing. Luis Schiavone for CNN, Washington.
Well, this is sweet. We've got a new look for our homepage, and there's a different way of getting there. You go to CNN.com. What you want to look for is the U.S. tab. You click on that near the top of your screen, and that's going to help you get to where we are. You just scroll down a bit on the U.S. page. You look over on the right-hand side, you see Student News. Click there, and that will take you to our page. It's also the same address you remember, CNNStudentNews.com. That is your direct link. Also, we have a new Facebook video that's pretty cool. Y'all want to check this out this weekend. Our Facebook videos, those of you who've seen them before, you know they're different. And this time around, it's kind of like The Office meets Cribs. So log on to facebook.com/CNN Student News and check it out. Driving a car. There's an app for that. But it took a team of engineers to rig it up. Wrenches on the pedals, a chain looped on the steering wheel, a phone controlling it all. The ride itself, they say, is a bit jerky, but the car can rocket from 0 to 60 in, well, it doesn't. It's actually more like 0 to 35 eventually. It's not blazing speed, but when they're operating a car with a phone sitting from the hood, you just gotta give them a break. I mean, they always want to steer for safety. These puns starting to grind your gears. Are we driving you crazy? Well, my name is Car Elazeus. We'll be rolling your way next Monday and Tuesday, so please be sure to tune in before the Thanksgiving holiday. Meanwhile, have a great weekend.